When we think fasting in the month of Ramadan, what are some of the things that come to mind? A lot of us may think that the month of Ramadan is just to abstain from food, drink, sexual intercourse, and that's it. That's what many of us may think. However, Ramadan is so much more than that. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, every single one of us is going to exit from this masjid having changed their perspective of the month of Ramadan. One of the common questions that I get asked is, why is it in the month of Ramadan my iman was sky high, and then as soon as we enter into the day of Eid, my iman has dropped again? And as time goes on, I am not in the same place spiritually as I was in the month of Ramadan. Right? This month, brothers and sisters, is the month where the worst of people in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala flip their lives around. It is this month. The month of Ramadan, brothers and sisters. It is the month, my beloved brothers and sisters, where one becomes from the awliya of Allah Jalla fi'ula. He becomes from the awliya of Allah, the close beloved servants of Allah Jalla fi'ula. It is this month. As I was walking out of the khutbah from Masjid al-Rahmah, I ran into a brother and he said, I really want to speak to you. I want to change my life around. And I thought to myself, inshallah ta'ala, today's lecture is indeed for somebody like yourself. It is a lifeline that Allah Azza wa Jal throws our way. It is an opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted every single one of us with, brothers and sisters. I know and you know that the lifestyles that we are living, and I'm not just talking about a drug dealer or someone who goes clubbing. Some of us may well just be at home and we are so glued to our phones. We are living a life of emptiness, spiritually dead. Inshallah ta'ala, we are going to flip that around. After this lecture, we will not leave this lecture room, inshallah ta'ala, except that our perspective on the month of Ramadan has changed. Right? One of the common questions that people tend to ask, maybe 20 days into the month of Ramadan, or maybe 25, I feel like I haven't benefited much. I feel like I could have done so much more. I feel so miserable and down. I feel like I've ruined the opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala threw my way. There are causes for this, my brothers and my sisters. You know what one of the causes is? One of the causes as to why we may waste our Ramadan is because we did not start before the month of Ramadan. Can someone tell me very quickly, how many days do we have left before the month of Ramadan? 2 weeks. It's like 10 days, right? 12 days that we have left, guys. 12 days. Right? What would the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam do in this month that we are in, the month of Sha'ban? Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam would fast? Right? Why would he fast? The scholars, they mention, in order to get himself ready for the month of Ramadan. Not that he needed to do so, but we are being taught a lesson. Start before the month of Ramadan, and then once the month of Ramadan kicks in, you hit the ground running straight away. The way I look at the month of Ramadan, my brothers and my sisters, is no different to a car. When you get into the car, does anyone in their right mind put the gears into gear 5? Huh? This guy is not 100% right. He puts it straight into what? Gear 5. No one in their right mind would do that. It takes time. Gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 4. And then he puts his foot down. On the motorway here, not in Small Heath, guys. Huh? On the motorway, he puts his foot down. Sahih. It takes time. And likewise, the month of Ramadan is no different. One really, really wants to flip his life around in the month of Ramadan. However, he is still carrying some of these bad habits, which he hasn't, right, rid himself of. This is why, and I've been saying this in some of the lectures that I gave, I want every single one of you guys today to go and buy a fancy exercise book. A fancy exercise book. Get a nice pen with it as well, or a ball pen. Put it next to your bedside and write down, what are some of the things that I'm going to implement or introduce into my life before the month of Ramadan? You start off gradually. Every day I'm going to read a little bit of Quran, right? Every day I'm going to do a bit of dhikr. I'm going to have my alone time with just myself and Allah Azza wa Jal. That seclusion, which is priceless, my brothers and my sisters, right? Different aspects of worship which I'm going to now introduce, right? Before we enter into the month of Ramadan. Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, that Muhammad, who fasts, and Jama', who fasts, might not necessarily be the same when it comes to reward, even though from the apparent they're doing the exact same thing. The Messenger ﷺ told us about an act of worship that is more important than fasting, which is what? The salah. He salawatu rabbi wa salamu alayhi said, إن الرجل ينصرف من صلاته فما كتب له من صلاته إلا عشرها أو تسعها أو ثمنها أو سبعها أو سدسها, up until the end of the hadith. When one now exits from the salah, my brothers and my sisters, right? It may well be that one walks away with 10% of the reward. Some get 20, some 30, some 40, some 50, and so on and so forth. Even though from the apparent they might be doing the exact same thing. Let me ask you guys a question. The one who's focused on his prayer, right? Concentrating. He is praying in a way where he is interacting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. Right? You think he's the same? Huh? When you compare him now to someone who's thinking about what his wife has cooked, huh? Back home? Or where his car keys are? لا هل يستويان مثلا أبدا. No, not at all. They're not equal. It shows us that it varies. Likewise, the Messenger ﷺ told us about Hajj. من حج ولم يرفث ولم يفسق رجع كيوم ولدته أمه. When somebody goes out for Hajj and he doesn't fall into transgression and obscenity, this person comes back like a newly born baby. Even though from the apparent they're doing the exact same thing. Right? They all go to Mina, they go to Muzdalifah, they all go to Arafah, they do the tawaf. These are what? Outward actions. However, there's a spiritual side to it, my brothers and my sisters. Year in, year out, wallahi, I see brothers and sisters who go out on Hajj with us. Right? Every year I used to see this. Every year. He's performing Hajj, but he can't control his mouth. I remember many, many years ago, we had this multi-millionaire on Hajj with us. Of course, the packages that we do is not like Al-Hidayah, Allahumma barik, Al-Hidayah, or big shots in the game. Huh? We just have, you know, basic 5-star package. In Mina, everyone's like in the basic place, right? So this multi-millionaire walks into the tents, and for those who know how Mina are, everyone's cramped in together, cramped up together. He went and sat down. He looked to his left. He looked to his right. And he was absolutely disgusted. He walks out of the tent and he just starts ripping into the organizers of Hajj. And I'm like, uncle, you know, can we save it for maybe later? And he's just going off. He's not going off on me, but he's going off on those who have organized the Mina tents of Hajj. Right? Insult after insult after insult. And I'm like, yeah, uncle, you are going to destroy your Hajj. And he's just going on. Can this person be the same as the one who is controlling his mouth? People start fighting in Muzdalifah. Don't get on the bus. See people what? Huh? A bit like the black stone. You know the black stone in the Kaaba? Literally fighting and pulling with one another. Right? Insults. You're this, you're that. And then you got some people waiting patiently. They're not going to walk away with the same reward, guys. And the same is mentioned about the fasting. Right? Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, رُبَّ صَائِمْ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِنْ صِيَامِهِ إِلَّا الْجُوعُ وَالْعَطَشِ. Someone may fast, but he gets nothing out of the fasting other than what? Thirst and hunger. How many hours are going to be fasting? 17 hours, right? Maybe more, maybe a little bit less. Maybe my calculations are from years back. Huh? But that's a lot of hours, guys. Imagine you turn up on Yawm al-Qiyamah, and this is what? Haba'an manthura. Scattered particles. And you got absolutely nothing for it. And that is because you thought that the month of Ramadan, when you fast, all you have to do is what? Stay away from food and drink, sexual intercourse, alhamdulillah. Right? We try to kill time in the month of Ramadan. Or it might be that he sleeps throughout the whole night. And then the whole day is, sorry, not the whole night. Because we're doing all-nighters. The whole day. The whole day, brothers and sisters, because he's up all night, and then he wakes up maybe what? Half an hour before iftar, alhamdulillah, yes. I don't have to endure, right? That tiredness just before iftar. It's only half an hour left, and then he gets on his phone, and he's going through Snapchat stories. One Somali sheikh called it wasakh chat. He called it wasakh chat. Or Instagram, fitnagram. You got the TikTok tigers, right? These names are good. Ala kulli hal, my brothers and my sisters, fasting is a lot more than that. Right? Fasting is a lot more than that. Jabir ibn Abdullah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, my beloved brothers and sisters, the great companion, you know what he said? Just to show you guys that fasting is a lot more than staying away from the things that nullify your fast. Right? There are certain things that are going to nullify it. And there are other things that are going to destroy the month of Ramadan for you. Split into two. I want to concentrate on the spiritual side of things, guys. He said, إِذَا صُمْتَ فَلْيَصُمْ سَمْعُكَ وَبَصَرُكَ وَلِسَانُكَ عَنِ الْكَذِبِ وَالْمَاثِمِ. When you fast, make sure that your eyes are fasting. Make sure that your ears are fasting. Make sure your tongue is fasting from what? From lying and all types of sins. Make sure your body parts are fasting, brothers and sisters. I honestly believe, you don't have to agree with me, that if you are someone who manages to control these three body parts, you are on your way of becoming a saint, a beloved servant of Allah Azza wa Jal. I believe that. Would you guys agree? When you think about it, guys, a lot of the sins that we fall into, would you agree that it stems off from the eyes, especially in today's day and age? With the emergence of social media. Would you guys agree with that? Think about it for a moment. If I remove the sins that I fall into through my eyes and through my ears and through my tongue, how many sins are we actually falling into throughout the year? Can you see how much it ends up going down? Right? It's a lot more than that. Every single year, guys, I receive correspondence on Instagram, messages on social media. A brother and a sister saying, I committed zina in the month of Ramadan. What is the expiation? Did you know, my brothers and my sisters, did you know? You know, husband and wife, are they halal for one another? Husband and wife. I don't do trick questions. Are they halal for one another? They're halal for one another. Did you know in the time of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم جاء رجل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله احترقت وفي رواية أهلكت وفي رواية هلكت. A man came and he said, "O Messenger of Allah, I've burnt myself." Burnt himself where? Burnt himself in the hellfire. I've destroyed myself. So the Messenger of Allah asked him, what happened? He goes, وَقَعْتُ عَلَى امْرَأَتِي فِي رَمَضَانِ. I had sexual intercourse with my wife in the month of Ramadan. The scholars, they took from this that the fact that he said, I've burnt myself in the hellfire, that this is from the major sins. With your wife, a woman that is halal for you, you do sexual intercourse, you have committed a major sin. Subhanallah. If that's the case with two people that are halal for one another, and I'm talking about while they're fasting, yeah? Because after Maghrib, you can go do what you want. While they're fasting, Right? This is a major sin. Then how about the person? Calm down, guys. Relax. How about two people that are not even halal for one another? Every Ramadan, guys, countless messages I received this. You know, one time I decided to ask them, right, how did you guys get to know one another? Or when did you guys get to know one another? You know what he said? We got to know one another in the month of Ramadan. Hey, in the month of Ramadan, why are you fasting? Type how? He goes through none other than fitnagram. Innocently, you know, these glances. Shaitan's whispering to him, wallahi, she might be a marriage potential. And he clicks on the profile, and then the shaitan whispers, give her da'wah. Huh? She ends up giving him da'wah, right? And then before you know it, guys, the unexpected takes place, right? Zina al-aynayn al-nadhar, wa zina al-lisan al-nutq. The zina of the eyes is what? To look. And the zina of the tongue is what? To utter, to chirps, right? To flirt. Huh? These loose conversations they start having with one another. And shaitan's telling him, akhi, she's your potential, she's your potential. And you are falling for it. In the month of Ramadan, and then the Messenger said, zina al-yad, the zina of the hand is what? To reach out to her. Huh? To reach out to her. And the zina of the feet is to walk towards her. In the month of Ramadan, this is happening, guys.